is to add the features necessary to get that enterprise adoption that paves the way for mass retail adoption. We're not going to see mass retail adoption of DeFi in the next year or year and a half because all of the DeFi applications are basically gambling.
You can buy some of these dips, but be careful later in the cycle. You don't want to overextend when you should be thinking about how do I take money off, but we're far too early for that yet. I talked about we could take lifestyle chips off sometime in the first quarter. Looks like it's pushed out to the second quarter.
Break cryptocurrencies up into a couple of baskets. One basket, of course, is Bitcoin, which is totally a Ponzi scheme. And we have a wealth of information if you want to know more about that. And when I say it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a politically driven speculation. And it's a Ponzi scheme that could go very high in price. You know, ultimately, it could easily go to zero. And I think
we have to trust the banks, the brokers, the insurance companies, the title companies, that our money, which is no longer our money, you put the money in the bank, it's the bank's money, and you have an IOU, but we trust that they're going to take care of it. Well, what blockchain does...
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I'll be getting plenty. They want all your bags, and they want all them empty.
If you got a baggie, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. We're going to be taking a look at the time for taking those lifestyle XRP chips off the table is coming. And until then, I'm being greedy. Also, we're going to take a look at some Dark Defender potential targets to look out for. Shout out to the latest sub. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. Go ahead, throw on those moon suits, throw on those pilot shades. Buckle up, because the future's extra bullish. Let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We're at the total global cryptocurrency market cap today right around 2.94 trillion, down around 0.01% in the past 24. We got XRP currently right around $2.19, down around 15% in the past 7 days, up around 2.4 in the past 24. BTC right around 85, 86K. ETH right around 22 hundo. We got Stellar XLM in the number 14 spot right around 31.5 cents, up around 11% in the past 24. We got Uphold Inc. to pop things off. Here's your XRP report for the week. XRP Ledger expands for institutional adoption. XRP Ledger is rolling out updates aimed at enhancing compliance, lending, and asset management, making it a more business and institution friendly. Banks, institutions, enterprises. Key updates include flexible token, supporting financial assets and collectibles, on-chain lending, enabling direct borrowing on the XRP Ledger, EVM sidechain compatibility, bringing Ethereum-based apps to the XRP Ledger, permission settings, boosting security and compliance. These enhancements build on existing features like clawback function in case of illicit activity and decentralized identity applications for greater transaction security. SEC holds closed meeting on Ripple. Case is about to end soon. The best is still yet to come. Crawl walk, then we rock it. The Andrew D. Vilbis Schwartz explains Ripple's current strategy to implement the necessary primitives on the XRP Ledger for institutional DeFi that will lead to the inevitable consumer-facing retail use cases, institutional retail adoption. XRP, the mother of all digital assets.
If you're holding $5 million in tokenized treasuries, the amount of margin that the issuer is making is microscopic. Your yield is microscopic, the margins are microscopic. So we're gonna bring enterprises in for dumb reasons, like it saves them money, it's more transparent. They're not going to understand that it's gonna do the same thing that stablecoins do. People use stablecoins for use cases that they could never use any other asset for. Like you can't use a non-on-chain asset as collateral for some DeFi application. And what's going to happen is they're going to learn that by tokenizing these real-world assets, all of a sudden they're going to realize that like they can target brand new use cases, brand new applications, brand new user base. So the strategy is to add the features necessary to get that enterprise adoption that paves the way for mass retail adoption. We're not going to see mass retail adoption of DeFi in the next year or year and a half because all of the DeFi applications are basically gambling. I mean, they're either recreational applications or gambling applications. If we want to take over finance, we need the really boring, I need a checking account, I need a savings account, I need a retirement account, I need a stock portfolio, I need sensible investments, I need the equivalent of certificates of deposit. We have to build all the boring stuff, and enterprises are what's going to make that possible. So the strategy is, over the next 1.5 to 2 years, bring in the enterprises with these features around tokenized. They're going to do it for dumb reasons. Some of them will be visionaries. Some of them will see this vision and they'll come to blockchains because they understand that it's like revolutionizing finance. But a lot of them will be here just because it's cheaper and faster and it works on weekends and it has these tiny little advantages that are better is better, right? If I go to you and I say I have something better, you don't have to believe me that it's going to change the world. It's enough for you that it's better. And then hopefully in 1.5 to 2 years, we can really turn that corner to sort of mass retail adoption.
Institutions, banks on their way to pump our bags up. Pump our bags up. We got Jack McDonald like clockwork. The January independent estimations for RLUSD is live. Some notable stats. RLUSD hit 7.35 billion in trading volume on the XRP Ledger and ETH in the first 60 days of being live. Significantly higher volume compared to many others, and became available on Zero Hash and Revolut. RLUSD remains over reserve. We hold 7 million more in reserves in total RLUSD supply. We're seeing increase in inbound interest on using RLUSD for on-chain collateralization for tokenized assets. Lots of possibilities. Here goes the Ripple RLUSD transparency reports. We got BetXO. RLUSD remains over collateralized with good market cap growth since the launch. Currently around 130 million market cap. No large RLUSD burning. Regulated entities are on-ramping and don't off-ramp. We got Digital Asset Investor. The time for taking those lifestyle XRP chips off the table is coming. Until then, I'm being greedy.
Okay, let's look at these corrective phases. If you guys have got this far and followed me, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 20% plus pullbacks. And you can't remember those. You might remember the last summer one because that was pretty miserable, but that's it. We deal with this. The volatility is a feature, not a bug. You need the volatility to drive these massive rips when they come. So that's where we are. We've seen this. We should be somewhere close to bottoming. Now, with those 7 pullbacks, we've still had 600% returns from the low. Again, you've forgotten about those because you're like, oh my God, it got to 110 and now it's at 80. It's like, it's all fucking noise, kids. Really, honestly. When we go back to 2017, it was more violent because Bitcoin was earlier in its adoption phase and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30% plus pullbacks, some of them at 40%. So this is more like Solana now, which is more volatile because it's earlier in the cycle. It's more like Ethereum, it's more like others. So this gives you the contextualization of what you're going to have to stomach to make the money. To unfuck your future, you're going to have to learn to deal with volatility. And if you've got any spare income and you can invest, you can buy some of these dips, but be careful later in the cycle. You don't want to overextend when you should be thinking about how do I take money off, but we're far too early for that yet. I talked about we could take lifestyle chips off sometime in the first quarter. Looks like it's pushed out to the second quarter. I'll keep you updated when that happens. But again, I'm very chill about this. When you zoom out, Bitcoin is just retesting where it broke out from. That's it, guys. It's hardly a big deal. When we look at the RSI of Bitcoin, it's like the second most oversold it's been in this entire cycle. These are opportunities. When it gets this oversold, yes, it can chop around a bit at those lows, might even make a new low, might chop, rally, new low, which will then diverge on the RSI. But it's telling you 1 month from now, prices will start climbing for sure. They'll be higher than here. And then 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we should have much higher prices. So once we've got the corrections out of the way, you start to look forward to, okay, now I can get some real price action going again. So that's to come.
Load up on these dips while you still have some time. Smoke Dog Fed now ramp up July 2025. Final deadline for the crypto task force, July 2025. Coincidence? Upwards? Onwards? Another one from DAI. This is what's really going on.
You can really break cryptocurrencies up into a couple of baskets. One basket, of course, is Bitcoin, which is totally a Ponzi scheme. And we have a wealth of information if you want to know more about that. And when I say it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a politically driven speculation. Its value is totally based on whatever political money they can get. So they need essentially to mandate government purchases. And if they get mandated government purchases, they can send the price to $1 million.
Well, they haven't done that yet.
No, they haven't done that yet. But if they get that done, now they're going to bankrupt all the governments when it's done. This is how they strip out. This is the last phase of the financial coup. This is how they strip out the land and everything else. So now they're also using it to keep the states away from gold and silver. If they can get them into Bitcoin instead of gold, then the central bankers get to keep all the gold.
It keeps people out of the stock market, too.
It keeps people out of the stock market. It keeps them out of starting legitimate enterprises. So all the economic power is over here. If you can get them in the shiny toys over here, you keep them out of the power line. It's back to the power line.
But Catherine, originally, when cryptocurrency was first, thought of, it was a currency system that made it possible to trade, to buy things,
right?
Orders and
so there's Bitcoin, which is a political scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme, and it's a Ponzi scheme that could go very high in price. Ultimately, it could easily go to zero, and I think will. But you have another basket of cryptos, which are legitimate efforts at payment systems. So Monero is a legitimate effort at a payment system in private money. And I think I don't think that's a scheme. I don't think that's a pump and dump. But and somebody said, for sure it's not a pump and dump because look how many places have tried to outlaw it. It must be good. And then there's stablecoin. So stablecoin is a coin that's basically being used to promote and push the dollar globally through the mobile payment system. So if I want to get everybody in a country on the currency, I no longer ship over pallets of cash. What I do is I just come in through their mobile phone using stablecoin.
Is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme? No utility, slow, outdated, old technology, not eco-friendly, XRP, built for the internet of value, built to move all the money, all the value, built for businesses, institutions, built for utility. XRP drops. Ripple is a gold sponsor of the Merge Madrid and Buenos Aires 2025 blockchain factory. Subject views, banks risk blockbuster-like decline if they fail to adapt to blockchain technologies in the coming years. We'll likely see blockchain move from the pilot projects to mainstream infrastructure, unlocking trillions in value and reshaping the global financial landscape.
The internet disrupted media and commerce. All the value that was in ABC, NBC, CBS went to Netflix. All the value that was mom and pop stores went to Amazon. This entire 30-year period has seen a massive shift. But it's tiny compared to financial services. Financial services is the biggest industry in the world. It's a 7 trillion with a T. And the T word is such a big number that people are numb to it, right? You and I would have to stay here on the podcast for 31,710 years, which is great. Good looking as you are, as much as I like to talk, that would be painful. 31,710 years. $1 a second, that's 1 trillion. So 7 of those babies get spent, extracted, stolen, I will argue, from us every year because of trust. We have to trust the banks, the brokers, the insurance companies, the title companies, that our money, which is no longer our money, you put the money in the bank, it's the bank's money, and you have an IOU, but we trust that they're going to take care of it. Well, what blockchain does, and what Bitcoin as the perfect use case for blockchain, as perfect money, what it does is it disrupts that fundamental industry, and we go from trust to truth. And this is such a monster deal. And it's so big, right? And so resisted by the banks. And this is where I'm going to circle back to the answer, right? Which is in the olden days, right? I lent you money. I lent you $100 and I'm old. I wrote in my papyrus tablet that you owe me $100. And you come back a year later with 110 to pay me back. And I'm an unscrupulous guy. I've changed the number to 200. I'm like, Anthony, you owe me 220. You're like, Bubba, I only borrowed 100. You blew it. You trusted me. I was not trustworthy. So the Medicis, right? Some of your forefathers, way back, maybe not your forefathers, but somebody's forefathers, way back then, 838 years ago, said, you know what? That's a bad system. Anthony, you write down a number. Mark, you write down a number, and
XRP, distributed ledger technology. Bitcoin was a distraction to get you away from the real coins with utility like XRP. That mustache altcoins, one last crazy leg is coming for BTC and especially for altcoins, in my opinion. This is the USDT dominance chart trendline break after 5.5 years. Bearish retest already done. Descending broadening wedge is forming, but one last leg down. Good for crypto. Should happen. We got the Coins Kid chart here for the XRP monthly returns. 2013 was green. We had red. 2016 was the BTC halving cycle, green. The following year, green. Bear cycle again, bear cycle. 2020 was another BTC halving cycle. Slightly green, another slightly green year, even though the SEC case came in. 2022, another bear. 2023, we did have some green, potentially because of the XRP, not a security case. 2024, we enter the next BTC halving cycle. We're green once again. 2025, be on the lookout for more gains. Inbound. Coins Kid XRP USD daily flip yellow on the cusp of flipping red. Unless we see a V-shaped recovery from here, I expect to see a red sell die to rally into the Coin Kid's ribbon resistance and another retest of the lows. Take out that white line and expect to see price discovery. And we got Dark Defender. We've entered spring. February was challenging, but we still love crypto and we expect a better month. XRP touched our lowest Fibonacci level and bounce. I'm happy to see the structure we set in February become a reality. Although we can double tap here, I don't expect lower figures than $1.88. Our critical Fibonacci level supports 188, 191. Targets 244, 299, 585. We're waiting now. The wave 1 of the wave 5. You know where the details are. I wish you a great weekend with your loved ones. And with that being said, bag man, bag ladies, according to BitHop, there's around 191 rich duck mints left. Links in the description. Get your ducks in a row. Also, links in the description for the 4th annual Moon Party down in Austin, Texas, April 26, 2025. And the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP rich list. Where will those bags be when that regulation jar molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? We'll catch you up here on the mothership. BYOB, bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. And don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We'll catch you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Welcome to the party. This a moon party. Hey, this a moon party. Hey, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. This a moon party. This a moon party. Welcome to the party, we don't play round here. Moon suit on or you get sprayed round here.